My name is Brandi Cave, and I first came to NTCC in the fall of 1991 after I graduated high school from Paul Hewitt High School in Omaha. All of my life, I always knew that I was going to college. It started very young. My grandfather, who had a sixth grade education, really poured into me, and so I always knew I was going to college. And I was a very academic person, very competitive. I had a friend group, and we all pushed each other to be the best. And so, we would always tease each other. Back in the day, in junior high, you even had top 10. And so we were fighting for the 1 and 2 spots. And then we did the same thing when it came to high school. Who's going to be valedictorian? Who's going to be salutatorian? Well, I ended up third in my class, and two of my best friends were 1 and 2. But I had a little bit different circumstance. So when I was 16, I got pregnant and married. The week after I finished high school and graduated and walked the stage, my daughter turned 2. So I never wavered on I was going to college, but it definitely changed the trajectory of my life because my support system that I was going to need, because I have a 2-year-old, was in Omaha, Naples area. So my best friends, number 1 went to A&M, number 2 went to the University of Texas, and I needed to stay here. And so I'm so thankful that the people in our community had a vision to build this college, because if this college had not have been here, I was going to college. But if this college would not have been here, I probably would have had to pick up my family and move, and it just would have been harder for me. And so this was really a good option for me, and I got a great education here, and so I'm just very thankful that this college was here for me. So right out of college, I was working. I went into the accounting field. I got a BBA in accounting from A&M Texarkana, and I went to work in a couple of different manufacturing companies in the area, trailer industry related, because Mount Pleasant is a big trailer capital of the world basically. But I saw an opening for the controller at NTCC. That job came open, and in March of 2017 I was hired as the controller, which is over the business office. And it was a big learning curve coming from kind of the private mom and pop owned business and manufacturing to a governmental entity. And so the accounting is very different. So it was a learning curve, but I knew that I wanted to be a part of NTCC because like I said before, I want to give back. And I felt like that it would be a good atmosphere and that I would enjoy it. And I have. And so from 2017 to 2023, I was controller. And in 2023, the vice president for administrative services, who is what I am now, and that was who I answered to, that was my boss. He took another job, and I became interim vice president of administrative services, which is CFO, and then you're over some of the plant services, police department, those types of things. And so I was interim for, I think it was 7 months, and then in same day, March 1st of 2024, I went through the interview process and became the vice president for administrative services, which is what I do now. So I'm over plant services, I'm over the business office. Since I've been here, we've started a police department. Our police department this month is a year old. I'm also over the bookstore, and I'm also over food services, which we have a contractor that provides our food services, Great Western, but I oversee that service and just make sure everything goes good. So it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of the support services and things that never stop here at the campus. It's a big job. Back in 1991, when I got here, the campus looked very different. They had started baseball. I believe that might have been the first semester for baseball. So we had one set of dorms, and we had a baseball field. I believe that was probably all the sports they had. The sub was in the same spot, but looked very different. The bookstore was not in that same spot. It was actually kind of in the library spot. The UHS building wasn't there. Where the sim lab is now, that was actually where the fit center was. And so, yeah, there's been a lot of physical changes. Some of the professors, like Dr. Ritchie, Alan Carter, some of those are still here to this day. They've been here all 40 years. I took classes with both of those. And so there are some great constants and studies at NTCC, but the growth and the changing and the amount of students that we now serve, that all has changed. And so the footprint here has gotten a lot bigger. With the students, like maybe somebody in advising or student services, the business office, you know, we're usually the ones that like everybody dreads to come see because you're coming to pay your bill or you're asking about the bill or you're wondering why you're getting on the drop list, you know. And so we don't always get to have that interaction. That's one thing that we're trying to, you know, when there is an event, we, you know, all of my departments, I encourage them to go and meet the students, because that is the reminder when we get to interact with the students. That's the reminder of why we do what we do. And so I love this. I love getting to talk to y'all and get to know the students too. It shaped me. It actually enabled me to reach my life goals of having a college degree, which neither of my parents, none of my grandparents had ever gotten. So being right here and then being able to have also A&M Texarkana fairly close, that allowed me to be the professional person that I desired to be. And you know, even though my life may have taken different turns, I always knew I wanted to have an education, work in the field that I was studying, and be successful and give back to my community, which this is in my community. You know, I live in the taxing district of NTCC. Even through my tax money, I still give back to this college because I'm very appreciative. I'm not gonna say that there's not stress, because there is, but when you think about the overall difference that you're making, and I try to remind each one of my departments what we're here for. We've got to be reminded about the young lives like y'all's that are just starting and just blooming, and we're here because of y'all, and we're here because we want y'all to succeed. And so that is what drives us. Really and truly, the thing that I've learned at NTCC is we have great people. And the people that are actually running those various departments are super at what they do. And so they make my job easier. All of the directors, from the controller, plant services director, police chief, bookstore director, and then the food service director, they are just phenomenal in their job. And so working with each one of them, I just have a good working relationship with them. They know I've got their back, they've got my back, and we just have a good working relationship, and they know what they're doing in their job, and so that makes my job easier. People who started like I did are not always encouraged to be proud of that. I could tell y'all about my high school years, and that was hard. That was a hard thing to overcome, because you are looked at different based upon the different choices that you make in your life. But I knew me, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew there was not going to be anything that stopped that. That is what I like to share with our students out here. I really don't work with students that much, other than those that maybe have a question about their bill or something like that. But one of the things that I love is being able to, when they give me a little bit about them, or that they're struggling, or kind of tell me a rough situation, I'll use my story and I'll say, listen, don't give up. You just got to make up your mind that this is what you're going to do, and don't let anything stop you, you know, those types of things. That's one of my favorite things about working here where I went to school. Happy 40th anniversary, NTCC. I'm so thankful you're here.